Hello. So here's a chord progression to try. It's good for practicing strumming. You probably know it, but I'm going to give you the rundown. So what I'm first going to do is show you the most important notes, which are the root notes, and then I'll show you how the chords build on top of that. All right. So the first root note is right here on the 5th fret on the A string. This is a D. Next one is a G, which is the 3rd fret on the low E string. And then, let's see, that's a C. All right, so back on the A string. And then back to where we were before. Okay, so you got boom, 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 boom. It's the first part. The second part is the same thing. Boom, boom, boom. But instead it goes boom. So the 5th fret on the A string. And the reason why I'm teaching you that first, that bum, 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 is because those are the root notes that you're going to build bar chords out of. All right, so when you're memorizing songs and you're trying to remember all these things, it's going to help a lot to remember just the roots. It's also going to help you hear them. All right. So the first chord, based on that D, is going to be a D minor. Okay. So the way that looks is it looks a little bit like this. Okay, now that's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to go through each note and tell you. So the first note is actually not on this low E string, but it's on this A string here. Now when you're playing this chord, you can hit all the strings, it'll probably sound okay, but you really want to accent, you're going to hear me accent anyway, this note, which is technically the first one, that's the root, the D. Okay, the next one is up here on the 7th fret, right? And your ring finger is going to be right there. So you got 5, 7. The next one's back to 5. And your pointer finger is going to get that one for you. All right? And then you got your middle finger right on the 6th fret on the B string, right? So that is this one right there, okay? Now, this is actually a D minor 7th chord. That's the way it sounds. If you want to make it a straight up D minor, you can add your pinky there. And again, I'm putting my pinky down on 7. All right, but this is kind of a jazzy song, so you're going to remove that chord. But in general, as you're making, or remove that note. So in general, as you're making these chords, get used to playing around with adding and removing your pinky. A lot of times, for rock and roll, there's not a ton of rules, so just use whatever you feel like sounds best. In this case, we're going to use this type of chord, right? But if you want to play in minor, that's easy for you at first. That works first. That works just as well, right? Next chord is going to be a G. So your kind of middle ring finger and pinky kind of stay in the same configuration, but you're just kind of shifting this down, right? Now this is a G major chord, right? And you ought to know this bar chord shape. The next one is a C, right? So you're building the chord off of this note here. You're barring that one. And again, you can make this one into a 7th too, right? By just removing the middle note here, okay? And what that looks like is it looks a little bit like this. So you got a, let's see, the 3rd fret, the 5th fret, the 3rd fret, and the 5th fret again. Play it like a straight up C, or you could kind of cut a hole in the chord here. That's one way of thinking about it. Let the bar hold down that note instead. Has kind of a jazzier sound. That's the different note, right? And then finally, right back to the D again. So, here's what it sounds like all together for the first part. Okay, might recognize the song by now. So, the second part is the same thing again, but instead of, remember we had boom, 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 boom. Now it's going to be like bum, 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 bum. We're going to end on the A on the 5th fret, right? Which is the same thing as the G, just slid up 2 frets, right? So we can figure this out. First part, G, C, back to D. One more time. C, over to A. Now you can see I'm really, playing individual strings from that A, but you could just as easily play that with the same rhythm. But the point is you can hear it turn around, right? And you're going to start to notice these chords kind of lead into one another, and that'll be more important as you go. But that's where it ends. Now you can see every single one of these chords, you can take out one of the notes in the middle to make it a 7th. And that note, in this case, is your pinky with the A note. Incidentally, you can do the same thing with a G, right? Take off your pinky. And you can make it into a 7th chord. Again, the 7th chord is just where that is what gives it that sound. And if you're curious, these are the roots of the chord. And what I'm doing is I'm taking it down from a 1 and I'm making it into a 7th. And what that does is, if the 8 is right here, it's the octave, right? That's why it's called the 7th, right? It's because I'm adding this chord to the mix, right? There's a 7th, and there's 8, right? Anyway, here's the whole thing. I'll just shut up and play it now. Whatever rhythm you want. Oh, hey. Okay.